Hello, beautiful people. It's Guy Sebastian, and I am here chatting with MILKY. Maybe is my first release in quite a while, and definitely the first release for 2025. It's kind of the thing that I'm throwing out there before I released the rest of my album. I've just finished my album. It's an amazing feeling because it's been over 4 years that I've been writing this. I've tried my best to finish it in like less time, but haven't been successful. And this year I just knuckled down. I took a break from doing like TV and other things that were taking up my time, and then just literally knuckled down and lived in my studio pretty much 24/7, and finally just finished it. I think I've got one more mix coming back. I just made some mixed comments yesterday. Maybe it's the first release, and then I've got a whole lot more music coming. I'll drop maybe another single and then drop the album toward like maybe halfway through the year, like so in a few months. I wrote maybe with Ned Houston and Robbie Desar. Robbie I've never worked with, which is weird because he literally lives like 15 minutes up the road is his studio, and everyone has been telling me for years like you got to work with Robbie. He's like a great dude and an amazing writer and musician, and Ned Houston is just one of my best mates. Like he's someone who I just love hanging with and making music with. We write heaps of stuff for myself. We write for other artists as well. And yeah, Ned was like, how have you not worked with Robbie? So we decided to finally work with Robbie and drove to his studio in Alexandria here in Sydney. I always like to have concepts and titles and like melodies, chords, like whatever it is. It might be even like I'll do folders of little loops that I've either made or found. And I always like to be prepared, and maybe was a concept that I had for the day, but the actual concept was very deep. I always saw it being more of a ballad. It was the word maybe. There's this like Chinese parable, and it's the parable of the Chinese farmer where a horse runs away and the villagers are like, oh, that's bad luck. And he's like, maybe. The next day, the horse returns, but with this whole big wild flock of horses. The villagers are like, well, that's so lucky the horse has returned. And he's like, maybe. But then his son the following day goes out to tame one of those wild horses and he breaks his leg. And the villagers are like, oh, that's such bad luck. And he's like, maybe. The following day, the army comes to enroll people into the war, but they overlook his son because of that broken leg. And the villagers are like, well, that was good luck. And he's like, maybe. And so it's this Taoist parable that basically talks about how even in what the world might perceive as bad or good, like the opposite can occur as a result of it. So don't get too bogged down by circumstance and try and see them more as just something that represents the interconnectivity of everything in life, and that just because it might be bad doesn't mean that good won't yield out of it. So then I got into this session. I'm like, this is a killer. Like, this is so beautiful. I love this parable, and I'll write a song called Maybe. And then Robbie started playing some chords. I think I hopped on drums at some stage. We got this little track together and it felt very non-Chinese parable-like. And so ended up just writing more of a much light-hearted, soulful kind of disco song called Maybe. Whenever there's chords to something, you can never... I'll grab a guitar. 1 second. If you hear that as it is, and you judge the song based on that, and then the outcome of the song, like you're severely limiting it. And so that could be like... Or you can not limit it and be like, I know they say you should take your time. When you're not looking this way, and you find someone that's worth your while. I try to stay patient, but how could I? How could... You know, you could go so many different places, or you can go to disco, or you can write something that's really like emo and sad and parable Chinese Taoist like. But I think you end up going with just how everyone's feeling in the room. And that's the beauty of co-writing. Like I write a lot on my own, but the beauty of co-writing is someone can just pull you out of your feeling and match it with what they're hearing those chords doing. So that's what ended up happening. And I think it would have been Robbie. He's like, nah, bro, can you jump on the drums and play this beat? Yeah, so that's what ended up happening. And I love co-writing because the reason I go into a room with other people to write is to bury myself as much as I can until I have to emerge, because I may as well write by myself. Like I want to extract from the people in that room as an artist. It's different if I'm like writing for someone else, but if I'm writing for myself, you know, I will bring ideas and then I'll see how they're like. It's almost like bringing a book title and you bring it to a room and you're like, all right, how do you guys see the narrative of this title playing out? You want to get other perspectives. And so sometimes I've got to take the lead like a lot in a session. And then other times I love it when I can just kind of sit back and let other people inject their creativity into it. It's not ultra poetic, but I think it's just my favorite line is the last two lines of the chorus. I will often work backwards. So when I write with a concept, I normally always have the concept, and then the line that sets up the concept. So, I wanted it to be called Maybe. Well, a title Maybe could be literally about anything. It's the last two lines of the chorus that I was set on that set up the concept. Why, like they say, good things come to those who wait. Why would I want good if I got great? It's kind of just a bit of a play on words on an old phrase. And it's, the whole thing is like, I'm not leaving it up to maybe. Like there's something that's in front of me now that I'm going to go for. And sometimes you just got to take heed, run like a band of horses and just go after that thing. It's absolutely my favorite album that I've ever worked on. As far as I've never stewed over anything as much as this record. It's been 4 years of just refining. And there's songs like Maybe where there's some R&B, country, soul, but there's also for me the greatest strength in it is I can't wait for people who have supported me for all these years to actually hear the ballads on this record, because I freaking love ballads. And that's, to me, when I was like waiting for a Brian McKnight record or Eric Benet record or Boyz II Men, I would be waiting for the ballads. I'd be like, cool, yeah, I'll mess with the up tempos and stuff. That, cool, but hit me with like at least 3 ballads that just get me in here, and it'll be my favorite album of the year. And so I feel like, yeah, fans will love the ballads on this because they're my favorite ballads I've ever written. I've got heaps of favorites. I can't wait for people to hear stuff like Strangers is one of my faves. There's a song called The Keys that I absolutely love. There's a song that a lot of people may have heard me play on my last tour. I hadn't recorded it by then, but Right One's a really beautiful song I wrote for Jules on her birthday. Yeah, there's a lot. That's probably enough. I've got to have some mystery. No, there's some disco and there's a real cross of stuff, but I don't know. It's just an album I'm really proud of, but more so just excited for people to hear. Like I want to know. I'm sitting on it now, and I'm sitting on it for a few months, and I'm insecure. I want the feedback. I want them to tell me how great it is. You're fantastic. That's a beautiful song. So well written. Tell me. I'm desperate and craving for affirmation. Oh, definitely the most fulfilling part is like mum and dad, I would say. My mum's from India, and she didn't believe me at first when I said that I'm in a Bollywood movie. She was like, please go, like as if you're what? It took me ages, like 3 conversations, I think, for her to finally be. I think I like FaceTimed her with Nina Gupta, who's a very legendary actor in Bollywood. She's been in 180 plus Bollywood movies or something. She's so respected and loved. And I think I FaceTimed mum with Nina, and my mum was like, Nina Gupta? Like, what, you're actually doing a Bollywood movie? I was like, Mum, I am doing one, yes, and I'm trying my best. And I've grown a beard because I'm the father of a 17-year-old boy, and I'm a bit of a dropkick dad that's trying to redeem himself. And it was fun. It was just a great experience. Like, Bollywood movies are so feel good. I grew up watching them, and I used to love the music in those films. And I love the over dramatization of stuff. Like, if you get to see Hindi Vindi, look out for when the grandma arrives, when Nina Gupta arrives. Like, just the fanfare and the lighting, and even as she walks through the precipice of the home where her sneakers are like backlit, and there's all this like, it's just so much drama, and I love it. It's awesome.